So you're thinking about buying a home this year. Well, today we're going to be going over the 5 things that you need to know about that you probably haven't heard of before that really are going to determine how successful you are when you go to purchase that house. And number 4 and 5 can help you get a great deal on a home in today's market, so make sure you stick around for those. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so the first and probably the most important thing, because most buyers don't know about this yet, is since August of 2024, the way real estate agents and buyers interact has completely changed. So before, if you wanted to purchase a house, you could just go on Zillow, Redfin, hit that take a tour button. A random agent would contact you, you'd go see the house. If you liked it, great, you might write an offer with them. If not, you just move on to the next house. You had no commitment to the agent whatsoever, and you were basically able to do that until you finally found a house that you liked, and you didn't really have that relationship and commitment until you started writing the contract to go into escrow on a home. That has completely changed. So now, and this is applied to all 50 states since August of 2024, in order to even tour a home, you need to cement your relationship with the real estate agent up front before you even step inside. And that's going to include how that real estate agent gets paid, because you're committing up front that you're going to pay that real estate agent out of pocket for their services if you can't negotiate with the seller some type of credit to help out with closing costs so you can pay your agent. So it's extremely important right now, more than ever, when you go out and think about purchasing a home, you need to be interviewing your buyer's agent. Oftentimes, this is only done on the selling side of things, but buyers need to make sure they're interviewing multiple agents. You need to know how much they charge, what type of services they're going to offer you, and really start to figure out what agent is going to be the right fit for you. Because again, before you even start touring homes with this agent, you're going to have some type of contract with them. Now, these contracts are still highly flexible, so if you only want to write a contract for a single property and nothing else, you can do that, and then you'll be free of that agent. You don't have to commit to them, but you do need to write these contracts up front. Now, if you aren't familiar with these rule changes and you want to get a full breakdown on exactly how they work, if you're watching this at YouTube, you can check out the video right up here where I go over all the changes, what you need to know about as a buyer in order to protect yourself when you go through this process of finding an agent that you're going to be able to work with to purchase your next home. So the second mistake that buyers often make when trying to purchase a home, especially their first home, is not having enough time to plan ahead. So what do I mean by this? Well, have you sat down and actually looked at your budget, what's coming in every month, what's going out every month, where you're able to cut, where you can't cut, and figure out exactly how much you can afford? Have you talked to a real estate agent to figure out some of the other costs of homeownership, including utilities, maintenance, repairs, things like that, so you have a better full picture of exactly how much it costs to be a homeowner? If you're not doing these things months in advance before you're ready to purchase a home, you're really going to be shooting yourself in the foot, especially if you're starting to go through your finances, you're talking to a lender, maybe your credit score is a lot lower than you thought it was, or maybe you're going to need another $10,000 of down payment, or maybe you just need to be able to pay off some credit cards. You don't know any of that information until you start talking to them. And sometimes some of the things that you need to fix in order to purchase a home can take months to do. So the last thing you want to do is thinking you're ready to purchase a home, you go talk to a lender, and then find out you're probably at least 6 months away from actually being able to do so. It's not a great way to start the home buying journey. So what I recommend is you sit down, again, months ahead of time, create that budget, figure out what your costs are going to be, and then figure out exactly how much home you can afford, and then go through and see, can I afford a home in the neighborhood I want with the amenities that I want, and can I see myself living there for 5+ years? If you can answer yes to that, then you're in a good position to start looking for homes. If the answer is no, then you can start creating a game plan on how to get to a point where you're going to be comfortable purchasing a home. So this brings me to number 3, which is choosing the right lender. So again, you can go online, click a few buttons, and get a pre-approval letter from a lender that you don't even know and probably didn't even talk to. However, if you want to be successful in purchasing a home, you need to make sure that you have a lending partner that's going to actually partner with you in that success and make sure they're going to bat for you. So some things you need to make sure that you understand is that when lenders quote you a interest rate, that interest rate is most likely not going to be locked until you go into escrow. So I see this mistake happen all the time with buyers that are just going after the lowest rate. You need to make sure that is not your only criteria when you're looking for a lender. So what should you be looking for? Well, number 1, you're going to need a lender that knows how to communicate as well as explain everything going on in the process. The lenders are extremely involved in the entire process of buying a home. So if they're not communicating how you like to be communicated with, so if all they do do is pick up the phone. You prefer text or email. It makes things more difficult. And if they're not going through and actually explaining the process, especially if it's your first time buying a home, step by step, so you're completely comfortable with everything they're doing in the background, that's probably not the right lender to work with, because you need to be able to trust them in order to be able to get you across that finish line and get you into the home that you're looking for. Now, speaking of crossing that finish line, a couple things you can ask a lender to figure out if they might be a good fit is, number one, do you underwrite your loans before you give me a pre-approval? Now, this might sound like a foreign language if you're not familiar with the industry, but this basically means is they're putting all your information, all your finances through their computer system to make sure you're actually going to qualify for this program. They're not just popping a few numbers in a program saying, yes, you probably qualify. They're actually going through and saying, yes, everything you have sent us, we have all the information we need to basically fully qualify you for this loan. And by doing so, one, you can make a more aggressive offer than a lot of other buyers when you go and actually place an offer, but two, you'll have the confidence knowing that if you get into escrow on a home, you're going to be able to close that escrow, get into the house, and there's not going to be any major hiccups with the lender when you go through that process. Another thing I always like to ask lenders is, do you call the selling agent when you place an offer? So when a buyer places an offer, what I always have my lenders do is call the selling agent, and that way they can go over any questions they have for the lender directly face to face. There's no miscommunication, and the lender can go to bat for you and basically say why you're such a good candidate for the house. Most lenders don't do that, and typically when I'm selling a home, I would say maybe 10% of buyers have their lender call me, but when they do so, I get some great information, and I'm able to take that information, give it to my seller, and the seller becomes more confident in their offer as well. So having a lender that's able to go that extra step and call the selling agent when you place an offer is extremely important, so always ask that question. Okay, so number 4, and this kind of ties back to finding the right agent, because not all real estate agents will do this, but one thing that you can do to help you get into a home is you can make sure that you go through with your agent and get extremely specific on the type of home that you're looking for, down to even the neighborhood or the complex that you want to live in. Because typically one of the biggest issues you have as a buyer in today's market is there's just not a lot of inventory to choose from. So if you're able to go with your agent and figure out that specific criteria, as long as you picked a good one that offers this service, can then start to target those areas specifically to try to locate some hidden inventory. So what do I mean by this? Well, they're able to now go out door to door, knock each door, and figure out if someone might be thinking of moving in the future and try to find a home for you that maybe might be up for sale in the next 3 months, but if they were brought an offer today, might actually be okay selling their home a little bit early. Or what the agent can also do is hop on social media, describe exactly what type of home that you are looking for, and really target market those areas that you're looking at using ads, because it's a very effective solution to getting in front of a lot of homeowners in a specific area that might be willing to sell their home that, again, hasn't hit the market yet, or maybe they were just waiting for the right opportunity and they saw the ad, they contact your agent, and now you might be able to find a home that wasn't even on the market to be able to purchase, and you could possibly get a great deal on that house as well. So again, this ties back to making sure you find the right agent, figuring out all the different type of services they offer, and make sure they're going to be a good fit for you. And then number 5, a great way to find a deal on a home is have your agent set up a separate search for you that only shows your homes that have been on the market for 30 days or more. Because these are typically going to be sellers that have had their home on the market for a few weeks now, traffic is starting to get light, they're not getting a lot of people through every single weekend anymore, and they're starting to get concerned that their house is not going to sell. This is a great opportunity to find a good deal in a market where you might be able to get a price lower than what they're asking to get the home off the market and get it sold, because the sellers are starting to get nervous that it's not selling right away. So make sure you have your agent set up a separate search for you for any homes that are over 30 days old, and you're going to have a much better chance of finding a great deal in that search than something that just hit the market. Now, if you've been watching this long, great, because I'm going to give you a bonus tip that's going to help you figure out the timing involved in terms of how long it's going to take you to be able to find that dream home. So you've gone through the process, you found a great lender, you found a great real estate agent, they have an idea of exactly how much you can afford, what neighborhoods you're looking at, and you're starting to narrow down those options. This is when you're going to get a better idea of how long it might take you to find a home, because now that you have your options narrowed down, you know those type of homes you can afford. If you're seeing homes pop up 2 or 3 times a day that you might be interested in, most likely it's not going to take you very long to find a great home, get into escrow, and close on that house and move in. However, if you get all this criteria set up and you're only finding a home maybe once a week that you could possibly be interested in placing an offer on, then you know that it might take you a few months to find that ideal property. So if your lease is going to expire in 30 days or 60 days, now you can start planning ahead. Maybe you renew it month to month, maybe you renew it for another 6 months. It gives you a much better strategy for your long-term plans if you know approximately how long it's going to take you to be able to find that dream home. Now, yes, you might be able to find that dream home still pretty quickly, but the odds are definitely stacked against you if you're only finding one a week that might be interesting to you. So it's something I recommend buyers do a few weeks before they're actually ready to start looking at homes, to just identify the timeline so they're not disappointed if they can't find a home in 30 days when they know they're only seeing 2 or 3 a month that are popping up they might actually like. Now, if you are thinking of buying a home and you want some more personal advice that applies to your specific situation, if you're watching this on YouTube, just check out the description below. There's a link to my calendar where you can schedule a free 15-minute discovery call. You can go over anything you have questions about and we can figure out a game plan that's going to work for you. So until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you on the next show. Bye, everybody.